Hello, and this is the All Around Natural Beauty, and thank you for showing up. And this is the All right. I appreciate you for coming out to listen to this topic that I just kind of was made aware of just yesterday when this whole decision was. I had heard about it, but I didn't really hear about it. I probably heard about it when it first happened back almost a year to date, November 21st, 2021, where this person, Darrell Brooks, went on a rampage and murdered 6 people and injured, dozens other. Oh, all because he, was upset with a woman. And it's been a lot of stuff talk lately about um, just the whole this rage and all this negative energy from men towards women and this new awareness of it and the whole gaslighting and the crazy making behavior to keep women feeling like this stuff isn't happening. This is like pure proof right here. And the sad thing is that we can't just um, say that it's the men, because the women who support this whole thought process, like in the case here, Darrell Brooks, his mother and his grandmother, his 80-year-old grandmother, spoke out, in support of this man. So today's, I'm bringing this out as kind of a public safety announcement to women especially, but men and women too, because there are some wicked women out there that condone this type of behavior. Because I'm going to probably talk about it a little bit more later, but I saw that the mother had bailed Darrell Brooks out of jail just right prior to him flipping out and going on a rampage, because he has been entitled and they have been making excuses for him for who knows how long, because he injured the girlfriend and he's blaming her. So it's just the same pattern when these men who abuse blame the women who they abuse. And it's it's just eye-opening. Even though I wasn't even trying to look for it, it's like the proof is just all over. It feels like the movie The Truman Show, just waking up to see how we have been brainwashed and conditioned as a society, male and female, to make excuses for this behavior, this brutish, violent behavior. Like everywhere I look, I get online and I see YouTube videos and people doing stories on. There was a one lady who was killed by a coworker because she said no. It's like it's just horrible, and these kind of things are going on, and women aren't being safe, because if the women were being protected when Darrell Brooks' girlfriend, baby mama, went to the police, asking for help. This man had broke her leg and punched her. I mean, attacked her. And his mother, bailed him out of jail for him to be available to crash his car into and kill 6 people and injure dozens others. I mean, just let that sink in. And this is kind of stuff that happening over and over. The only reason why we know about it is because he crashed and killed 6 people. But prior to that, he's been attacking this woman and doing all these violent things and been getting away with it. And it's and they make excuses. and women, we're guilty of making excuses for our sons and stuff. If we're gonna, I'm gonna play the video. You're gonna hear the mother, and it's just I it's like I'm waking up to this whole thing. And first, let me just explain too, right? So I'm learning all this, coming aware to this whole division that they're trying to, make us believe that there's this division, and women, we're just being abused, and these kind of things are happening, and nobody is relating the whole fact that this man did this because of the woman. He was angry at that woman. And I hope people are seeing it. So anyway, I know I'm just passionate about it because I feel like these are programmed responses for us to feel and say these things, like the mother. And the other thing I really want to say this too is, it's just to prove that it's not a man and woman thing, because there are some women that have this negative energy also, because like I said, the mother and the grandmother never, the mother, y'all won't hear it. I'm gonna let y'all hear it and stuff. Okay, so let's go over there, and I want to start. Let me share my screen, and then we'll go over there. And I'm gonna play. This happened yesterday. He was sentenced yesterday to like thousands of years. I know it was a lot. I don't remember. I think it was 1,200 or something like that. But anyway, they really fixed everything. For those of you who don't know, let me just kind of post you up. This man, Darrell Brooks, um, he yeah, let me just do that really quick. Post y'all up and tell you who Darrell Brooks is. And what did I do with my phones? Oh, I hear it. All right, so Darrell Brooks. Anyway, he is a man, and he was having some domestic issues. He's got a history of violence. He's a typical male, had a history of violence and domestic violence. So he'd been putting hands on the baby mama, and had previously, prior to this, was arrested for viciously wounding and attacking her. To which his mother bailed him out of jail, right? So it shows me this history of when you have like the narcissistic mother, like I was saying before. Y'all don't probably remember because I didn't say it on this video, on this channel, but these narcissistic daddy's girls, and mothers boys, those mama boys and daddy's girls. This is that type of dynamics when the mother, will, she know her son, beat this lady up, and the mother, her granddaughter, and all that stuff, and they upheld him and made excuses for him, bailed him out of jail so he can rage even harder, because now he feels more entitled because he hasn't been made to be responsible or held accountable for any of his actions. And so, and hence we have this. So let me just go ahead and get this going here. I'm gonna share the screen, and share the screen. Watch this video. This was from yesterday at his sentencing. These were his people. Is this the one? Is he lost? Here we go. His mother and his grandmother.
I'd like to tell the court and thank you for being with us today.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. I have two things I would like to tell. One is a written statement, Your Honor, and then I have a one I would like to read after my statement, if that's permissible. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Mental illness affects everyone. It just
All right, I'm just going to stop right there, because notice she hasn't acknowledged any of the victims or anything like that. It's all about me, my, right? So that's clue number one. I'm just going to just go ahead.
destroys lives, families, and hurts society. For far too long, it's been a dirty little secret in families that no one wants to talk about. Mental illness is the elephant in the room that so many pretend it's not there. People,
All right, so I reason why I want to stop right there is because I want to let y'all see how when you have these narcissistic mothers and they have these psychopathic sons that they know have been violent and done all these wicked things towards people, especially women, to make excuses. She never showed any emotion about the people. 6 people were killed and dozens other injured and traumatized. And those of us who saw the news and all that stuff were traumatized. Never acknowledged nothing about that. Starts off immediately with the blame shifting by saying this mental illness. Obviously, we all have to know that he wasn't mentally ill. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been allowed to defend himself. Can't be mentally ill and be his own counsel. For y'all saw that he was acting as his own lawyer. He exercised that right to do that. So obviously that lets us know that he wasn't mentally ill. But see how they blame shifted it, and that was through a woman. So that's why I'm saying that we can't just say we have to stay away from the men. Yes, we do need to protect ourselves from these men, but we also have to be aware of these women who are accomplices. Like they're in cahoots with them, and actually, because I really put a lot of responsibility on the mother, and then we're gonna see the grandmother too, for that, because the lady's face is all banged up, a broken leg, and those charges. Why would you bail him out? And especially you're sitting up here talking about mental illness, but you gonna bail him out, and you're saying he's mentally ill. You bailed out a mentally ill person so he can come here and commit this heinous act on society. Okay, so when are y'all gonna start taking some accountability? So that's why I'm just wanted to stop it right there, because that lets you see right there that they, and I'm saying they because didn't care about the people. None of them took responsibility for what happened. Then want to blame society and say it's our fault. So that's the other reason why I'm saying that it can't just be men. We can't just blame the men. We have to be aware of the women like that too. And unfortunately, it's a lot of us, because we have been programmed to believe that the man is the head and that we are the second. You know what I mean? So, and I know, because I was guilty of that too. And look at how backwards everything is. It's against nature. So let's go ahead and get back into this, and let's see what Moms is talking about again. And
people who suffer from it are often shunned by families and friends, rejected by society, and made fun of, the subject of bad jokes, ridiculed, and judged on YouTube, podcasts, Facebook, and other media posts.
everything that she is saying is in defense to her son. In his defense, she has said nothing about none of the victims. She's sitting up here saying that we need to take all this stuff into consideration to feel sorry for her son.
Used in campaign ads, disrespected, stripped of their dignity. No one cares. No one sees their pain or hears their cries and pleas for help. They are the forgotten ones.
Yep, you forgot too, because what did you do? Y'all talking about y'all knew about it and nobody did nothing. Y'all, shame on you. Shame on you. If you got somebody in your family with a true mental illness and you just are letting them out there, letting your dog loose on society, shame on you. That blood should be on your hand too.
And viewed by many of not having a place in society. It is no fault of their own that they have become ill.
It's not my fault.
To change from the person we all knew. Once viewed as fun, loving, and kind, are now the outcasts of society.
All right, let's just stop right there again because, and let's do this. Right there, I just want to stop because see how she's painting the picture again. Like we've already established that this dude is not mentally ill because he wouldn't have been able to host himself on this in the trial. Okay, so let's just stop there. But she keeps trying to paint this picture, and the whole time, all she's doing is defending him, not. And at the same time, you're showing how if you knew this, then why would y'all just let them out like that? If you guys are saying that society needs to do better, aren't you part of society? When are you going to be responsible for what you did? And I just, here we go. Let's go ahead and put it back and continue.
Society. We say what's wrong with society? They're idiots, unfit. They need to be disposed of, thrown out with the rest of the trash. They serve no purpose. The same, my brothers.
All right, so she's saying, this whole, I'm not going to bore y'all with all of what she's saying and stuff like that too. Because here, you can see it here if you want to watch the whole video, but let's just kind of skip ahead here. Get to the good part.
In their cases, or many of their cases, treatment, therapy, medication, hospitals and institutions that specialize in helping those who suffer with mental illness.
Mm-hmm. And this is where she's trying to let us know this is what he needs as opposed to the punishment that he's about to receive. He needs treatment in a hospital with specialized, she's telling us what is needed here.
Need to be offered.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe these places can help those who suffer become mentally well.
Wow. Now, y'all do know there's no cure for mental illness, right? So, again, I'm just showing y'all how this is all part of the thing, because if you see other videos where the girlfriend is talking, nobody is really counting that. Really, I'm grateful that she was spared to be, so we can see where the true thing was, because if he had been dealt with like he should have been in the past, he wouldn't have been out and available to be able to cause all this havoc. He wouldn't have been able to do the rampage. She did everything she was supposed to do. She reported to the police. He was arrested. But what happened? A woman, we cutting our own throats. We're not even safe among sisterhood. Why would you do that? Because that was not the first time he put hands on her. She's already in the shelter trying to get away from him. And women, and that's sad when it's the mothers, but that goes back to that narcissistic mother that do that stuff. And you'll hear when y'all listen to that video, she says things like, my son, my son. She's sitting up there just defending for her son, taking no responsibility that, yes, that was your son. That was your contribution to society. Why didn't you get your son help? You knew your son was a nut. Why didn't you do something about it? But he's not the only one. We just know about it because he was allowed to get even bigger. I'm sure if you look back on it, and he blamed the woman. He was mad because he was mad at her. So he blamed her for that's why he did all this. And that's what these psychopaths and narcissists do. They blame you. That's why you can't stay. And she did everything right. She tried to get away and she was in her shelter and all that stuff. But it just shows how the odds are stacked against the women. And something needs to be done. We need to have a safe place for this to exist, because that was horrible. I mean, how, scary to know that this person is just out. And then, I'm proud of her for doing her duty to get on that stand and testify, and how brave for him to still, try to, it was just horrible. I can go on for hours on this, but these are the kind of things that women are facing and stuff like that. So there's got to be something, and something has to be done. Like, we've got to wake up, and women need to come together, because if we could come together, these kind of things couldn't exist. They couldn't exist. They'd have to stop. They'd have to cease to exist, because it's not natural. It's not natural. We're just going through this program response. Like I said, I'm going to go back and show how the grandmother did the same thing in my grandson. And that's all they were concerned about. At least she did. But it's y'all need to watch it though. But it just sounded so, like you can tell that they have probably been making excuses and rescuing him, and fixing his mess, cleaning up his mess for his whole life. For his whole life, grandma and mama been cleaning up his mess, and you could see that they felt entitled to that, because of the grandmother was saying, I'm a minister and I'm this and that, and actually shaming people who said that they couldn't forgive him. She started projecting curses out. Let me just go on and show y'all what the grandma said. This really made me upset when she said this. It was horrible. She started putting out curses on the people who chose not to forgive him for crashing into a crowd of parade goers and killing 6 people and injuring dozens others. For the people who couldn't find it in their hearts to forgive that, she was shaming them and putting curses on them for something bad to happen to them for not having forgiveness in their heart. How awful. How awful. But then it goes again to show how we have been programmed to protect these men from boys, and we make excuses for them, and they don't have to do anything. And women are out here, we're busting our butts, taking care of everything, and getting kicked around and stuff, and nobody is protecting us. He shouldn't have been allowed to be out. And for $1,000 too? Yeah, let's see what grandma is talking about again. All right, so I'm going to fast forward it here. Let me see, maybe she...
I believe...
Oh, and at the end, she...
By providing resources to individuals so they can get the help they need.
All right, so look at it. It's already minutes. Mama's still talking. And I promise y'all, she said nothing. And look at him, this fake ass expression. Let me go back there.
Right lawn.
Look, he blinking hard, trying to show some tears. Ain't nothing coming down.
Find a flight that's the right
Oops,
price.
I'm sorry,
Airline,
y'all.
stops,
We got
cabin
4,
class, and more.
3,
Search Kayak
2,
now.
and 1. Oh, they're gonna get me with another commercial.
But a good team member
Okay,
shouldn't
here
actually.
we go. Skip.
Cage bird stands on the grave of dreams.
Wow, yeah.
The
She
shadow-
defiled that poem, the cage bird sing, and gonna reflect it on this. Oh my goodness.
Shouts on the nightmare scream.
Mm.
Their wings are clipped. Their feet are
And look how
tied.
she's talking to us.
They open.
Fuck you. This fake ass.
So
It's
that's
fake
why
ass
both
expressions.
women turned
Look at
away,
there.
but I'm
Dry.
actually watching.
Not a tear. He's trying to look the part like,
Thank you, ma'am.
look at
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you.
Then I'll turn next to
Yeah,
Mary Edwards.
look at him
You
trying to
want
look
turn your
innocent.
camera on
He
and
really
breathe, and
believes
then
he's going to
move
get
forward
out of
to
this.
Yes, ma'am.
That's how these narcs are. They're ultra convinced, like he thinks he put on a brilliant case. And now that I get moms and grandma to come up here and say stuff about me, oh man. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
And I should say for the record that obviously Dawn Woods was the first speaker, and I have Mary Edwards. If you can let me know who's next to you, please.
Oh, there's no one next to me at the moment. Thank you.
Look at grandma. Automatically,
Yes,
she
no.
being
I need to know
defiant.
who's in the room with you because I saw them.
That's my husband.
Okay.
Grandma got
Okay,
caught in
he's
a
not in
lie.
the room at the moment.
All right.
No one there at
He's
the
not
moment.
here.
I just wanted to know I saw
problem
someone.
Come on, ain't
with him
nobody
being
there at the
here?
moment.
No, he can be there since I know who it is.
I hope
It
y'all was
just-
able to hear that because
my
I don't know if I
husband
had
is
it on
here.
mute or not.
Will he be speaking or
Okay.
just you?
No,
This may not be the right one. Let me see.
no, he's not speaking.
I'm not sure if y'all was able to hear that because I might have been on the wrong screen. But the significance of that is that grandma, obviously there was someone that was visible to the judge in this here shot, right? I'm not sure if y'all can see my mouse there. So the judge, declares for her to announce the person there because everything's still official. She got to make sure it's known to the record. She's putting it on the record, and then she immediately goes, "There's no one here at the moment." But already showing her entitlement. Like if you listen to how she said it, like she's, there in her mind, she probably thinks that, she is so special that they should let her grandson off just at her word alone. You've got my word, Your Honor. My grandson will not do it again. Please just slap him on his wrist. It's just really sad. Let's just let me go back on here. Go on, Granny.
All right, go ahead. Thank you for being here today. And again, if I look like I'm looking to the side, it's because that's where the monitor that I can see you is located. So go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. For the record, my name is Dr. Mary Darlene Edwards, and I am not the wicked grandmother of the West.
Right there. She got to clear it up. I am not the wicked grandmother of the West. She's here to clear her good name. And then she'll go on to do more stuff. But do y'all see that? The first thing is coming out of her mouth is what she's not. She has not offered nothing. The first thing need to be coming out of your mouth is, I'm so sorry about these big people who's been killed. I'm so sorry about that. Where's that?
I am the grandmother of Darrell Edward Brooks Jr., and I asked to be here today for two reasons. First of all, from the bottom of my heart, I want to offer my sincere
I want to offer, not give, offer
apologies to those who have been hurt so badly by what has happened here.
She can't even say the word who've been hurt so badly. She can't even say the freaking word.
This
Killed. Those have been
that has been caused
unalive.
by my grandson. I want to also apologize to the family of the little boy. I understand their name is Sparks.
Look at that. Oh, that's so it doesn't even feel, it just.
And to all of those whose lives have been damaged by this overwhelming tragedy.
Look at this. You can tell that his grandma just been taking up for him since he was a kid. He ain't took no responsibility for himself at all. Looks familiar.
As a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, I want to give the family.
There we go again with that I, me, my. See what I'm saying? Very selfish, very self-serving, all of them, from the mother to him and the grandmother. And we can see that it's been groomed there. I'm pretty sure she was that one and my grandson, and just like the mother and stuff like that. This goes through generations and stuff. And that's why he's there looking all smuck in the courtroom, because he really thinking that mama and them gonna get me off. Mama and grandma been getting me off this whole time. He think he gonna get away with this.
And those who've been hurt so badly, the scripture, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. And I say this, please know that it's my prayer that my grandson sincerely and humbly apologize and ask all of you and God.
Tell the people you sorry now. Tell the people you're sorry now. You know, she been saying that since he was a little knucklehead getting away with stuff. Just tell the people you're sorry now.
Forgiveness for this horrible, terrible deed.
And he still didn't do it.
Some of you have said that you will never forgive him.
All right, listen up,
Please
y'all.
do not be like the man who drank the poison and
Wow.
hoped his enemy would die. Unforgiveness is a terrible disease, just like mental illness.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Y'all hear that? All right. So
truly, there have been many losses because of this tragedy. Darrell's mother has lost a son.
Again, she now is their loss. Their loss. Did y'all see that cheap ass little, offering that she gave for the victims? She couldn't even say what happened. And now it's all back on them again. What Darrell has lost, what they have lost. Not an ounce of true compassion for these victims.
Lost a grandson. Darrell's children have lost a father.
That he used to beat up on their mother.
And Darrell has lost his mind and his life in the outside world. Darrell's behavior, including his voice, should get the attention of the powers that be, both near and far.
Look at them blaming the government.
Darrell has suffered from bipolar since the age of 12. And it was that disorder that caused him.
Look at him looking like a spoiled brat.
That crowd. It is my prayer.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to kill those people. It's her fault.
That he will be treated for this illness and managed in a facility that addresses mental health concerns.
Look at how entitled. I mean, y'all, I'm hoping you guys are getting this. Hoping y'all are getting this because, after yesterday when I started doing a little bit more research into this, because I wanted to show that this ain't no, spooky or crazy one-time type of thing happen. These kind of things happen all the time. There was another incident, like I said, the co-worker dude flipped out because the lady was saying, "No, I'm not interested." These men are just flipping out. They're just, and it's not new. They've been doing this, but people overlook it. People overlook it, and women's cries aren't being heard. And it's because women like that, the grandmother and the mother who defend and protect and cover and not let them face responsibility and grow up, they are creating these monstrous type of male species to come out there and to commit these acts against society. And that's when they want to say, these things, but he should have been stopped a long time ago, but he had enablers. So I just want to say that it's our responsibility as women to make sure that we stay safe, and you gotta cut, and leave. Sometimes you may have to go to a different state, but you have to get safe. Like it's these, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. We only get one, real shot. We only get one real shot. So, yeah. But let me just get a little bit more of this grandmother's little baloney crap here. And she is, I don't even like the outfit she has. I can totally see the personality. They're the ones that, probably, like she had to announce her title and all that stuff. Dr. So-and-so, and I also and I'm a minister, and my grandson, and she's thinking that because she is such a powerful, Miss Mary, she's so big and bad that her, reputation alone should be enough to free her grandson. And they, you can totally see how entitled.
We must start with the younger generation. Finally, I'm 80 years old, and I have been an ordained minister for the gospel of Jesus Christ for 47 of these 80 years.
Don't take my grandson away from me now. I'm 80 years old. She playing the old lady card.
If
Yeah.
you look at my background,
Mm-hmm.
you will see that
My
God
background.
has used my life to bring about positive change in multitudes of residents in the city of Detroit and beyond. I share this information not to boast.
Mm-hmm.
That is not my intention, but rather to let you know that I care about people and their well-being.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you allowed your grandson, you leased your grandson out on society. Y'all should have had him, kept him caged up good and protected the rest of the people. What did you do if you care so much about people?
I've spent more than half of my life helping what the Bible calls the least of these,
And your grandson, what about him? You didn't help him.
aka society's rejects.
Mm.
Since this tragedy, I have become a mental health coach. This will help me better understand.
Since this tragedy, still can't say it. Don't want to take responsibility.
And this horrible disease, which has plagued
Horrible
my
disease. Let's
family
blame it on that.
for generations.
Mm.
Presently, there is a church in Detroit that is planning to establish a mental health clinic on the east side of Detroit. Without hesitation, I will support this effort and do everything I can to help those struggling with mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Before I close, I just want to share with you some facts with regard to mental illness.
Wow. Like we really need to know that. Can you believe how entitled it's I'm appalled. I just can't, but it just goes to show you that the people like that, these narcissists, they totally feel entitled. Like they feel that they should be allowed to do that. You know what I mean? That, they should be allowed to do whatever they want, and that somehow it's someone else's fault. It's society's fault because they let him slip through the cracks. That's what the mother was saying. It's society's fault because we, didn't manage his condition. It's society's fault. And that's why it's not your fault that you went and bailed him out and made him available to be able to do this stuff. If nothing else, you should have just left him in there, where if you are knowing that he's got all these issues and stuff, why did you let him out? That just goes to show that you probably had hatred in your heart for the baby mama. And so you gonna unleash you let your dog sick your dog on him. And then you let him deal with it. Because a lot of those narcissistic females do that. They use the males to to unalive people. They use the males like their sons, boyfriends. Check the news, y'all. It's filled with stories of women who use the male to unalive somebody. This is an example of that. And a lot of times these narcissists get away with stuff because they're very clever at disguising it. But his rage was so much that, and you've been allowed to keep getting away with it, to when you do finally erupt, it spilled out and hurt so many people. And it was visible for everyone to see. For everyone to see. And if y'all can't see how it's all because of this whole order being backwards and out of order, and that until we start valuing our women, till we start first women, if you're a woman, you got to value yourself. You are responsible for getting yourself ready to be able to help other women. And there's some men out there that need help too, because like I said, all women aren't good. There's some wicked ones that are evil too. evil exists in both genders. It's not a gender specific. So we won't get that twisted. So I just want to, be clear on my goals is to help people, but I'm a woman and I'm going to start with me first. And I know that as a whole, more women are victims and are being unalived than men by men. Because y'all being unalived by each other. So you guys are doing that to each other, the men, and then y'all doing it to us too. So women, we need to protect ourselves and see these stories as examples, because I know that somebody got a friend, a sister, a mother, a niece or aunt, somebody else is going through this, and the abuser is being protected. These narcs are being protected by these flying monkeys that's, try to always defend them and do, tear down anybody that stands up against them. And we see that here, because if you listen to the mother, her voice and her energy, she was like, and society and y'all need to do this, and he needs this, and blaming society for let him slip through the cracks. And if he's in the hospital and he needs to stay there, and if he, and like pretty much saying that we need to understand, we need to have compassion. And the grandmother did just as worse, actually shaming. For those of you who say you're not going to offer forgiveness, I hope you end up like the poison people that eat the poison, and because your heart is bad. Yeah. How horrible. No compassion at all for people. And these are women. So that's why my argument is not that all women are good or that we need to protect all women, because any woman who thinks like that and will stand by and support a man who's done things like that, that woman is not safe to be around. You got to get away from them too. So if you got a mother or a sister or daughter, niece, anybody, female in your life, then you need to be aware of these things too. You have to, you have to be responsible for keeping you here. And I'm just grateful, for the survivors. And I just want to give a moment of condolences right now to all of the victims. And, I heard there was 6, and I'm just, I don't want their lives to go in vain. And that, because y'all know this, I've never done a show like this before, but I've been feeling it in my heart for many years, but kind of worried to speak out about it because of how people retaliate and attack and all that stuff. And women, like I said, have been being attacked and victimized for years. It's not like it's a new concept. This kind of stuff has been going on for forever. And a lot of times there's not really a safe place for, women to be able to come together and heal, because we're always being attacked, mostly by other women too, when we're not being attacked by these men. So I just want to put a call out there for, to stop women. Let's just come together. Let's see what happens if we start loving each other. But before we can start loving each other, you have to first love yourself. So I want to change that and say, stop trying to love one another and start loving yourself. Make sure that you are loving yourself first. That way you'll be able to, love somebody else. Just like when you get on the airplane and, they give you all the instructions, they say to put your oxygen mask on first before you go try to help somebody else out. And that's because if you are trying to help somebody get their oxygen on, and then all of a sudden you're going to pass out because you don't have any oxygen. So you're not going to, and then both y'all finished. So the best thing to do is to take care of yourself first. That way you will be available to assist someone else. So you always have to think about yourself first. And then unfortunately, society and all these different religious beliefs. We are being trained to put other people first. You know what I mean? And we can see now, if we just look at history, that has not been effective. Like, there's still been war and all this crazy chaos and killings and all these things happening. It hasn't stopped nothing. And these kind of things now just continuing to go on because we need to change our mindsets. We need to change our mindsets. So let's see here what else is happening here, and then I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up with my closing thoughts on these things. And my closing thoughts. And
This from the government's mental health website. There's a myth that said mental health problems don't affect me. Many people don't feel like it affects them. That's a myth. It affects.
let me educate these people without condescending.
In 2020, and listen to this, 1 in 5 American adults experience a mental health issue. 1 in 6 young people experience a major depression episode. 1 in 20 Americans live with a serious mental. The number of lives.
Anyway, that's about all of the value that you're going to get out of that. And really, the value for me in this was just to show how it's a cycle, y'all. I bet you. Well, I'm going to even be doing some more research. So I want to keep digging a little bit deeper just to show y'all that this ain't nothing special. This is the same stuff that's going on. You got a neighbor, somebody that you grew up with. This is happening somewhere. This, you know what I mean? This nutcase been in and out of jail. Like, he ain't really didn't. When I read through his little, run-ins, they've been mild. This going to be his first time, prison, like doing the real thing. And I can tell you that he ain't built for that life for real, because he is one of those males that's been coddled by females who have been doing everything for him. So, yeah. And I just wanted to show y'all how this is a cycle. And until we start changing to, and not upholding and protecting and letting these things go, and not protecting other women who this is happening to, and to turn our heads and stuff like that, because a lot of it's just bad. I'm just grateful too that these things are now shedding more light on it. If you live long enough, you'll see that with time things change. Like I said, I'm 51, about to be 52, so I've been here for a while. Like, as a kid growing up in the 70s and 80s, these kind of things was really more common, because that's just how it was. And people weren't saying anything because there was nobody to protect, there was no protection really. So people were trying to figure out, women, trying to figure out how to just, stay in the land of the living, do the thing. So I'm just grateful that now voices are being heard, and hopefully we start putting together some things so we can start making some changes and healing. It's going to have to start with every individual. I'm challenging every individual, male and female, to heal your own pain. It's your responsibility to heal your life. Everyone has to take responsibility for their own life. You can't be looking for somebody else to come rescue you. And it goes for women too. If you can heal yourself, you'll be able to create your own wealth. So you won't have to go look around or get with a guy just for his money. You have your own money. You have the ability to create your own wealth, as opposed to plotting and scheming on how you can get it from somebody else. Just get your own. Get your own. And then for those men who not getting, y'all just trying to scheme and see if you can trap a woman so you can knock her up with a baby and have a place to stay and not have to do nothing because you thinking you made a family or something like that. Get your own. Take care of your life and find your own stuff, because if you are doing that, it's going to create resentment. And then that's when a lot of violence happen. A lot of violence be happening like that, because if you taking care of these men, they knowing that they not deserving of it, and they're gonna take it out on you. They're gonna take it out on you, and a lot of them are violent, have the potential. Yeah. So I'm just grateful for that, and I had to put it out there. And since this channel is kind of still new, and I feel like these are women topics that we need to share with one another and stuff too, and not like keep these little dirty secrets in the closet. We need to keep opening up and talking more and more about this stuff, so we could do something, and not have women suffering in silence because nobody's listening. And then we have these wicked women like Darrell Brooks' mother going bail a violent rat like that out in order to let him go now overboil and murder people, 6 people, and injure dozens of others. And then to have the audacity to demand that we show some compassion. Society needs to fix this. This is our fault. We failed. So I'm just feeling like these are important subjects to talk about. And I want to empower women. And, who knows? It may start off with doing you a big chop so you can let go of a lot of stuff. Sometimes you may have some bad energy in that hair, and you just may need to just zip it off so you can change your energy and get positive, because a lot of these relationships are toxic. They're toxic. And I know it's some men that have been in some toxic relationship too, but I'm speaking more towards the women, because it's more of us who receive the toxicity of these relationships than the men. And I'm just saying too. So it's it's time. It's time to repair our self-esteem and start lifting up one another, and see, so we can show that, this is where the power is at. It's here. And so we're not going to be going for this here puppet mastery stuff, and we're just here to help and save the women and all that good stuff, save society for real. And just being aware that if the women are part of that whole thing, and they can't be helped, because you can't help somebody who don't know that they need rescue. And that's why sometimes if a victim is with a crazy person, a narcissist, a psychopath, or somebody who is violent in a violent relationship, they may not listen to you if they still under the love bombing spell, and they still see this person as great, or they have gotten into their head so to where they actually know how to, bring them back with the Hoover and stuff. So there's like a cycle to this whole thing. And I'm sure it wasn't the first time that the ex-girlfriend had an incident with him, because she did say that she told him where she was at, that she went to go to the motel to sleep somewhere else to get away from the negative energy, ended up having a conversation with him. And I guess he comes to where she's at, and then, he punches her, and he's just been, all that. So it just shows that if you look back to, in a lot of these stories where these men have unalived these women, they, the things that kind of, I'm so sorry, y'all. The thing that kind of synced it together was that they had been in a relationship with them or refused the relationship with them. But for the most part, I'm going to go with the ones that were in a relationship with them. Maybe there was a child or so involved, and the woman wanted to leave. And oftentimes these men can't take it when the relationship is over, and they have a high potential for unaliving you. That's why it's not a good idea to be trying to get into a relationship with one of them if you are not a healed person yourself, because it's not going to end up, it could, has a high potential not to end up good, you know. So anyway, just be looking for more of this kind of stuff from me, because I really feel this is what I want to talk about. And two, y'all can see, I can show you how you can grow your 4C hair out and change your whole mindset and all that stuff by getting rid of the dead negative energy. And if that's your hair, whatever it looks like under there, your scalp, love it and heal it. Everything, as long as every day that you wake up, you have a new day to heal. And as y'all can see, my little alopecia is growing in here on the side. You know, still a little, about a tip of fingerprint that's smooth. I can feel it, because it's a feeling of the alopecia. It doesn't feel like, you know, the hair has been cut, because you don't, you know, it's smooth. Y'all know, the ones, those of y'all who got some alopecia know what that feel like. Not just short hair, it's smooth. It's a feeling. But anyway, so and that's how we can do that. We can focus that on that and you know, keep on with the healing and all that stuff. So please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. You know, I need some more subscribers in here so I can continue to push this message out to women all around who need a space, a voice, and just maybe some little nudging so they can wake up, because we waking up, we waking up for real. And that's why this is going to work. So I love y'all, and like I said, like and subscribe and tune in for my next video, because I think there's going to have to definitely be a part 2 to this, because there was a girlfriend. All these things are significant because I know that we all know somebody that's going through this, or we're in it or something like that too. So it's very important, because we want to save some lives, because I really commend the girlfriend for what she did. However, she had the 2 wicked women working against her. 2 wicked women working against her. And that's where we have to be careful as women, that, you know, you have to be selective of the women that you really trust, because some of them are really on the side of these men, or they, you know, like I said, they are wicked and they don't mean good for anybody. Like I said, there's women in prison now for orchestrating, using males to commit crimes against other people. So there's some you know, some controlling and psychopathic you know, women too out there. So again, we're gonna be coming together and building our community of loving individuals, loving ourselves, so we can love our planet back. Love y'all, and see you later.